All right, so let's get into the other things that he said in the interview. Coach K on Rich Eisen. I'm pulling interviews from Dan Patrick and Rich Eisen. So he said a lot of interesting things. I like it. I like it when people talk about Kobe, Mike, Magic, Bird, talk about those guys, man. But what he said, I mean, it's gonna be two clips. You got to listen to what he said, man. You got to listen close. I mean, this dude dropping gems in this interview. But listen to what he said about Kobe, Mike, and Kevin Durant, at all people.
The mentality of Kobe versus Michael Jordan in practice at the Olympics, is there a discrepancy? Like, is there similarities that they sort of attacked when they came in, that practice was a game to them?
No, I think they're probably two of the most similar great players in the history of our game. I mean, and one, they really, they were just super talented, but they were also incredibly prepared. And I don't think anybody was any more competitive than those two guys. So they were that all the time. That was their personality. And when they were on the court, and it meant something in practice or in a game, they were all business. They wanted to be great, not good. I mean, they wanted to win, but and they wanted moments. They were never afraid of a moment. They craved moments. I knew that more about Kobe because he was on two of our teams, and I was the head coach. And if it was a tough moment, he smiled. He, like, all right, this is what I prepared for. That other stuff was pretty easy, but this is who makes me. And he came through all the time.
What Olympic team had the biggest impact on you, whether it was coaching or personally?
Well, I was an assistant on the Dream Team, so I saw the magnificence of those guys and their professionalism and how they brought the NBA culture at that time into the Olympics. The teams I coached, starting with the Beijing team.
All right, so I played a little bit too much on that, but I like what he said about Mike and Kobe. He said they was very similar and almost the same in skill set, right? Yeah, we live protagonists. Then he said that their competitive edge was at practice and in the game. They was just ultra competitive and probably the two most competitive guys he's ever been around, right? Kobe and Mike. Then he said, when it comes to Kobe, I knew from being around him and seeing him, there was no moment that he didn't want. He wanted all the big moments. And when it was a big moment, that's when he smiled. That's what he licked his chops for. That's what he wanted the most, those huge, big moments. He didn't shy away from any of them. This is what he's saying about Kobe, right? That's high praise. Kobe and Mike. Those are the two names he mentioned. Then he was asked this.
Talking to Mike Krzyzewski, go back to the Dream Team, and it felt like there was like tangible moments where Bird and Magic and everybody else realized that all of a sudden Mike was the new sheriff in town, and that there was almost this begrudging handoff of that guy's the best player in the world.
Well, they weren't at the same age at that. Jordan was more in his prime, although he's always in his prime, and I shouldn't even said that. He was Jordan then, and where Larry was really had a lot of back problems then, and Magic had been all out for a year, and so not that they were at his level at that time, but if they were in their prime, all three of them, I'd take those three guys to start any team.
If you could pick one of those three, that one would go to Duke when you were there.
Oh, I'd take any of the three.
No, you got first pick.
Yeah. Well, who's going to stay for 4 years?
He can't pick.
Okay.
Jordan only stayed for 3. I wish he'd only stayed for 1 at Carolina.
How about they're going to all stay for 3 years? Magic, Larry, or Mike?
No, I can't pick one. Yeah, I can't pick one. I love all 3 of those guys. Like you're talking about 3 of at least in the top 6 or 7 in the history of the game. I mean, Magic is probably the best point guard ever.
Yeah.
You know, Jordan may be the best player ever, although Kobe's right there and
Kobe's
LeBron.
Right. Yeah.
And Larry was just unique, you know, like he's, and you talk about being a competitor. Yeah, there aren't as many players like that anymore. I'm telling you.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. You know, and not that there isn't talent, but you know, like I don't know if I saw something yesterday where the salaries, and these guys deserve it, of our Olympic team for next year, the guys on it are something like $500 million when you combine for the year.
That's crazy.
You know, the 12 guys. On the Dream Team, it was 35 million. So for the whole team.
That's crazy.
And so I don't know if there was you didn't just play for money. They loved the game. And I wish we would have, I think we have a number of guys who love the game, but in youth basketball and even college, I'm not sure the love of the game is the impetus to be good all the time.
Yeah.
And like Durant loves the game. Durant, if he's walking by a gym, he's got to go in and shoot. You know, he's got to play every day. And I wish that I would see that more, you know, in the young players. Now, again, not that there are players like that, but it was almost like everyone was like that during that time period.
So that's a really good point, right? So what he's saying is, and I mean, that was a long clip, but what I wanted y'all to get from that was toward the end when he started talking about Bird, Magic, and Mike, and saying that they don't make them like that no more, right? And he was just like, man, the love of the game, I don't think is there. And then he said, why? He said, I don't know. And then he started mentioning the money. He was like, look, man, the Olympic team now, that whole total salary next year equals to over 500 million. The total salary of the 92 Dream Team was 35 million, right? I think Derek White might be making 35 million next year by himself. And he's the worst. I mean, he's not even a starter. He ain't even first team, second team, or third team all NBA. He's not even an all-star. So, and he's getting 35 million. So imagine that. So I think what he was trying to hint to is that love of the game is evident because it wasn't the money. Well, maybe it was the money, but the money never made them so comfortable that they didn't feel like they had to achieve more. Like this money they getting now, like, I mean, you can get that money without loving the game. You can get that money by, you know, going hard through high school, going hard 1 year in college, or not going hard in college. You can get hurt and play one game in college. And you know, if you got a lot of promise and a lot of potential, you can still be a top lottery pick. Right? Once you get in, you know, you get in the league and you get that money, play well your rookie contract, and then hopefully get that big contract later, that big extension. After that, I mean, you can relax if you're that type of person. And I think that money is fine, you know, is showing more people are not like Bird, Magic, and Jordan, and probably more like Charles Barkley. Like Charles Barkley never took his diet serious enough to be in top shape every year. So you got your Barkleys, you got your Lucas, you know, just show up fat all the time. You know, but that love of the game that he's talking about the guy that he mentioned they got it now is Durant, and his example was he can't even walk by a gym without going in and getting shots up. Kevin Durant, Kyrie, maybe even Steph Curry, they love the game like that, right? I think they practice constantly, right? What I see LeBron doing more than he's doing gym work, and I could be wrong because I'm not seeing this man everywhere. Just what was posted on social media, but it appears that he works out in the gym more than he works out, and I'm talking about the weight room more than he works out on the basketball floor. You know, it's kind of evident. I mean, his body is in tip-top shape still at 40, and that's probably where he hang his hat at. Kind of the same for Dwight Howard. I mean, Dwight Howard, you know, hey man, I can dunk, I can jump, I can rebound, I can block shots. You know, I don't need to be Elijah Wan in the post. You know, my athleticism gonna get me where I need to go. And maybe LeBron is kind of the same way, and it's working. But getting in there and getting that gym work on the floor, like Kevin Durant, I just didn't hear his name mentioned. I didn't hear Coach K mention LeBron name. He mentioned Mike, Magic, Bird, and KD. Right? He mentioned those guys. And then when it came to the guys who was the most competitive and who brought it at practice, he's been around all of them for Team USA. He only mentioned Kobe and Mike. I think that's significant. I think that's noteworthy. I think that was worth a conversation. Right. So, but y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. What was Coach K really trying to say? Why bring up KD's name, not LeBron's? Why bring up Kobe and Mike's and not LeBron's? I think that's interesting. Did he just forget about LeBron? I don't know. Y'all let me know.